Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report from Cleveland. Josue Pavon is here. Noah Dalzell is here. And the Celtics showed up too tonight in a big way, 106-93. Jayson Tatum leads the way with 33 points, 13 rebounds. Good call, Josue, on the prize pick.
Yes.
Going
Told you
more
no
than 27 and a
50
half.
piece, but it's going to be efficient, and he was definitely going to hit over 30 points. So if you guys listen to us, good job.
Well, Mitchell got more too, so we lost tonight. But
Oh, you said less. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you listen to me.
That's why I was giving you credit. How much better do you feel about Jayson Tatum after tonight? Didn't shoot amazingly, but felt more involved in the flow of the offense. The ball was popping, and he found his spots to score in the flow of things, and did a great job getting to the basket. I love the physicality he played with in this one, shooting free throws regularly throughout his big scoring night.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I wasn't super worried about him offensively before this game. I think we've seen that he goes through stretches where he struggles a little bit, losing his touch, and then he always bounces back. And so it was a matter of time. And it wasn't like he put together like a heater tonight. He ended up shooting, 44%?
Yes, he did.
from the field. And so, there was a lot of things to like about his performance. I thought defensively it was a step up from what we've seen from him this series, and that was good. Rebounding-wise, just across the board. But more of my takeaways were just about how the team played and how guys like Drew Holiday and Jaylen Brown stepped up. But certainly I think it squashes some of the dialogue and the rhetoric that we've heard over the last few days around him.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
need to bounce back.
No, he did, and I didn't. Honestly, I'm not surprised. That's why I made that prize pick selection. I thought it was the easiest one out of the entire list because that's
You could feel it
What
coming.
was his number?
Right,
What
and
was
that's
his-
27 and a half.
27
Okay.
and a half. You believe that? Like 27. So, I just think the bounce back Tatum, that's something that we can always expect. Was it going to translate into a win? I thought it would. I didn't expect the Cleveland Cavaliers to come out here and be able to do this again. What happens in Game 4, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, I thought what Tatum did on both ends of the floor really triggered the Celtics team to stay focused, especially on the defensive end of the floor. I think that's the part that really led to that loss in Game 2. I mean, let's face it, whether people want to call it not being intense enough or giving up too much space, whatever you want to label it, the fact of the matter was the Celtics needed to be focused every possession on defense. And I just think a lot of the times they let up, maybe because of the scoreboard, maybe because it's just the way that they are until their backs sort of is quote-unquote against the wall, even though I don't consider being tied in the series 1-1.
A little, though.
I mean, a little because people are talking about Tatum shooting and people are talking. So I think collectively you want to go out and obviously win the game, but also say, hey, don't worry about Tatum. We got this, And I think Tatum went into it with the same mindset, saying look, I'm going to turn this thing around because that's what I usually do. But to do it the way they did, in a sense of a blowout win, I think is the right. That's what's supposed to happen. This team is too good for that not to happen.
Yeah, and I think criticism of the scoring specifically was valid. I think tonight you see he gets to his spots quicker.
Yeah.
He's more decisive, more downhill attacking, and those are ways he can find his points if they're not there. 21 points a game isn't enough from him, and to get up to 33 I think is a nice improvement in approach in this game. And he was talking after the game about how he doesn't care individually about how many points he scores. Here's him talking about that here.
I mean, I've done that plenty of times before. I was more focused on, just us as a team responding and playing better. The points, like I said, they'll come and go. But I think just the poise and the purpose that we came and played with tonight in a great environment, that was fun to be a part of. So that was my main focus, just, making sure we won this game 3.
So I think we all know that it's not a selfish thing for him. It's not about him putting up stats and trying to get certain numbers. The question I had after the game on post-game is, what is his job? Is his job to go out there and score 30 points? Do they need that? Or is it to do all the little things and maybe sometimes be a diversion? This series has been an interesting conversation so far about who he needs to be. And it might change night to night. And I think that's the difficult thing for him right now is that coverages he's going to see, how he needs to play could change drastically every night. And I think the biggest issue with him right now this postseason is the consistency. Right? You've had some great games from him in approach. You've had some games where he's just not there as much. And so I think that's where a lot of the criticism came from.
Yeah, to me, it's what the team needs is to have 2 or 3 guys that have a good, efficient scoring night.
Right.
You don't need it to be all 5 of them, and in fact, it's not going to be all 5 of them.
Really
Tonight, Tatum had a good night. Jaylen Brown had a phenomenal night offensively. I mean,
Right.
he was picking and choosing his spots. Like, that was a Jaylen Brown masterclass as far as like what you'd love to see from him all the time.
For sure.
13 of 17. I think he finished with 28. Drew Holiday had his best offensive performance we've seen in months.
Yeah.
Right? So that's enough, those three. And meanwhile, Derek White struggled. Al Horford struggled. You didn't get much from the bench. And that's enough, right? And so I think with the Celtics team, you don't need everybody to be on offensively. But one of the keys is that, you know, if the people that aren't on are trying to, you know, just force the issue and force points, that's when you see them start to lose it. And so I don't mind the games that, you know, I think Tatum had a game where he took 9 shots versus Miami. Like, I don't care about that. And maybe some people would say, you know, he's your superstar. He needs to get more touches. He needs to be a higher usage player. If Derek White's going for 38, like, who cares, you know? I think, so it's just a balance, a matter of, like, who has it tonight. And I think they're all willing to lean into that and willing to defer to whoever has the hot hand. And, you know, as this playoff run continues in the finals, like, it's probably going to have to be Tatum almost every night, right?
Yeah.
That's the reality of it.
But see, that's a big part of Tatum's evolution that I think has made him such a better player, that he doesn't feel the need to take matters to his own hands and say, oh, I have to go out and score 35. You know, this is the way this team has to respond with the team on my back. And you look at the roster, he's at a point in his career where he understands, like, man, I have so many different options and different weapons. So I don't get to, you know, I don't look too deep into his percentages or how many points he's averaging. I'm looking at the team and how they respond. And obviously he's a big part of that. He's their best player. They're going to follow his lead. So I don't like this whole narrative about Tatum's got to perform at a certain level, night in and night out. I think that conversation should have started initially after game 2, but it didn't. I mean, that was something that people were talking about during the Miami series. And I think that's a big part of why, you know, Tatum has matured in a big way, because he doesn't fall into that trap. He doesn't fall into that, like, oh, I got to go out and drop 40. Look what Donovan's doing, or I got to do the same thing. Like, he's such a smarter player now. And I think that's a big part of his evolution. And what he did in game 3, those are the responses. I mean, that's his response to that narrative. And I'm happy he said what he had to say after this game, for sure, because I think it was worth it. You know, I think that's something that it's a part of who he is.
Plenty of other big things to talk about, and we'll continue to do it over the next day or two here between games 3 and 4. Tough night for Al Horford. We'll see how he continues to hold up without Kristaps Porzingis out there. And big leadership night for Jaylen Brown as well. We'll discuss that and more in the coming days here on the Garden Report. We, of course, are brought to you by Prize Picks. We mentioned them. Go over there and get a 100% deposit match up to $100 with our code CLNS. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use Garden Report over at PXG, our official golf and leisure partner. Great as the season starts to warm up here and it's golf season again. But even if you're off the course, look great, feel great, hats, polos, tees, all the rest over at PXG. Get a discount with the code Garden Report. And our official ticket partner, Game Time. Go over there right up into and even after game time. You're going to get the best deals on tickets and a special discount for first-time users, $20 off when you use the code CLNS. Of course, terms apply. Check out the Game Time app. He's Josue Pavon. She's Noah Dalzell. Celtics win Game 3 and go up 2-1 in this series. Plenty more to come here from Cleveland. Subscribe, Celtics All Access and CLNS Media. I'm Bobby Manning. Celtics win.